Welcome again to Aussie Beer TV. I'm Brent, this is Ty, and Ty, we're down at the Melbourne Docklands today. We're not here to watch footy, we're here to talk about beer. And what are we here to talk about?
The Melbourne Docks, Brent, as you can see we are. There's some big ships behind us there. Now,
there's one from Italy.
There is one from Italy, just behind us, as I said. The reason why we're at the docks, Brent, is very important. About 10-20 years ago, I don't know the exact time frame.
Who cares?
All imported beers, like the European ones, some of the Asian ones, you know, those fancy ones, all came off one of those. Out of a container, off a boat, from Italy, for example, from Germany, from wherever. Okay?
Into my hands, at the pub.
That's right, down your throat. Now, about 10-20 years ago, like I said, I don't know the exact date, that all changed. Imported beers was actually not really imported. As in, the big beer companies bought the license to brew those beers here in Australia on behalf of the European parent company. So, Brent, can you tell us what is Brewed Under License all about?
That's exactly right, mate. An acronym everyone needs to know, BUL, Brewed Under License. What it means is essentially that, like you said, a brewer here, one of the big companies buys a license to brew the beer locally. They do that, they slap the same label on it and sell it to you and me as a consumer as one of those European
people
beers.
are very passionate about this topic, aren't they?
They are, mate, very, very passionate.
Very passionate about this topic. Now, why do you care, Brent? Why do you care that beers are brewed on the license?
That's a very good question, mate. I guess as beer drinkers, there's probably two things that we care about. One is taste. Taste, flavour. Pretty passionate about that sort of stuff as beer drinkers. The other thing, I guess, as a beer drinker or just a general consumer is deception.
Not being duped.
That's exactly right. I don't want to be deceived. I want to know what I'm buying, where it's from, who made it, blah, blah, blah.
Fair enough. Now, let me cover that off for you. First of all, I'm fully aware that beers are brewed under license. So, you know, in fact,
as a fully informed consumer.
As a fully informed consumer, that's right. So I like Heineken, for example, as one of my imported beers. And I know that's brewed here under license. I also like Peroni. I like Grolsch, and I'm fine with that. You know, I think it tastes, for me, it tastes fantastic. Whatever tastes better for me is better. Now, a few facts. Beers that are still imported on the ships, minimum 3 months from Europe.
On the ship.
On the ship, When you import beer on a ship, it's 3 months, so it's a fair amount of time.
Up to considering they have a shelf life of 12 months.
Beer's got about 12 months shelf life.
6 to 12.
Now, beer is best had the day it comes out of the brewery.
That makes sense.
Fresh beer is better beer. So, obviously, big truck goes past. So from Europe, it can be as much as 6 months.
So that's a long time.
That's why, and also beer degrades. The more time it's basically from the time it leaves the brewery, the time you drink it, the more time it passes, the less fresh the beer. Flavour, aroma, taste, everything. Now, secondly, it also from Europe. It also goes across the equator, Brent.
We're down south.
We're down south, north. It's pretty hot over the equator. It also goes through. That ship probably came through maybe Dubai or Singapore, pretty warm countries. And heat obviously degrades beer as well. The other thing is, I believe when they brew beer under license, they're actually replicating the recipe pretty well. They import the malts, they import the ingredients sometimes. They use local ingredients that match the. So it's made to specification. For example, with Beck's beer, they actually fly every batch they make down here in Australia. They fly samples back to Germany. Gets tested. Doesn't get released unless it passes the stringent tests. For example, it might taste the same. If the colour's not right, doesn't get released.
So there are control mechanisms.
There are controls. Which is why I don't. For me, it's about freshness. I don't mind drinking the locally made stuff.
For me, mate, it's more about deception. So if you hang on to that one there, here's some Peronis. I've just whipped them out of my back pocket.
Got a keg they look at.
I have, mate, in my back pocket. Wish I did. They look identical. Look pretty much exactly the same. However, one of them's brewed on the coast of New South Wales.
Because they brew this now locally here in Australia.
Under license.
I think about a year ago it used to be only imported. But they're now, you're right, they brew it now in Australia.
So one of these is made in Italy, the other one in Australia, here under license.
Newcastle, I think.
You're exactly right, mate. This is the one that's made in Italy. That's the one that's made.
They look exactly the same.
They do look exactly the same. So the way I mean, there are ways people talk about. Oh, you look at where it's made and the labels are slightly different. Blah blah blah. The definitive way to know that the beer you're holding in your hand has been made here in Australia, possibly under license, brewed here under license, is via the barcode.
The barcode.
So if we look at that barcode there, the first 2 digits, if they're 9 and 3,
9 and 3,
it means it's been made here in Australia.
So this one's been made in Newcastle in Australia from a brewery. And that one's come all the way on a ship. from Italy.
That's exactly
and also
right.
It says made in Italy as well on there.
It does. Yep. But you know, sometimes especially if we consider this one here, I mean, it's hard to see where it's been made. It's got Italian writing all over it. To me, that's very deceptive. However, the definitive way to know is just by checking the barcode.
If I was in a restaurant and it said imported beers on the menu and I ordered this beer, I would think that's an imported beer.
You would, mate, especially if you're an Italian restaurant.
That's right. You go to a bottle shop, imported beers, pick that up, I would think that's an imported beer brand.
That's exactly right, mate.
Oh, fair enough. So deception is important.
It is. To me, it's very important.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're an honest bloke.
I'd like to think I'm an honest bloke. Many people don't think so, but yeah.
That's right. Now, the other reason, beer, it's a passionate thing, it's an emotional thing, isn't it?
It is very emotional.
So the
cultural emotions, everything's fine.
And you were telling me, if you buy an Italian beer, it should be made in
Italy.
To you.
To me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, people like beer, people are passionate about beer. I mean, maybe you like Grolsch, you're living in Holland, and you want to buy the Grolsch that comes from Holland. So that's fair enough. We're just telling people, just know what you're buying, and let's just be open about it.
So that's all it's about. It's about being fully informed, knowing what you're buying. When you make that decision to buy a beer, being fully aware of what you are actually buying.
And lucky for me, I like stuff that's fresh, and the stuff that's made in Australia, I don't mind anyway.
Lucky for me, I can still get my Peronis that are produced in Italy.
That's right. There's a few other topics we haven't covered, things like parallel imports and grey imports. We might put some information on the website for you, but I mean, hopefully we've got the main points across today.
So there we go. We've been Aussie Beer TV. Check us out.
Cheers.